Welcome to Pat Gray Unleashed.
And welcome. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. So much to talk about. Jeez. It's not the old days, as we've mentioned before, where, you got a day where there's absolutely nothing going on. And you're scrambling to find stuff to talk about. Just really not an issue anymore. Let's see. The U.S. plays Netherlands Saturday morning. See how that goes. I don't know why Netherlands or the Netherlands can't seem to light on a name that they just stick with.
Yeah.
Isn't it Holland? Wasn't it Holland before?
Is that the same place?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But then you're Dutch if you're from the Netherlands.
You got it.
What? Shouldn't you
Makes
be
total
Nethers?
sense.
Netherians?
The Nethers.
Should you be Hollanders? I don't know. They're Dutch. And I know they punch above their weight. That much is clear.
Well, we're going to find out on Saturday.
If
how
they punch
much
above
they
their
punch above their weight.
Yeah. I hope they don't in this particular case. Also, Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac, an absolutely legendary singer, died, I guess, over the weekend or yesterday, the day before, 79 years old, after a short illness, they said. So I don't know what that illness was, and they don't want to tell us because they asked for privacy, which means don't ask us. Okay? Kind of interesting because this, as that car commercial features, her song stylings. The song Everywhere. I want to be with you everywhere.
Yeah. That was our song of the day for show prep.
Was it?
Yeah.
Today?
Uh-huh.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. You know that, Mr. Twitter.
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah. I mean, for other people who, didn't realize that,
you were
weird.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's...
I like that commercial because the guy, I don't know, they're like 20-somethings driving around, he and his friends, and he hits the high note. The passenger next to him, dude, like, what are you doing?
That's funny.
Don't try to sing that song.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the Tommy Boy scene, where they're singing... love me, baby. Yeah, you turn the station. Oh, no, you can turn it. Yeah, whatever you want to listen to. And then they end up crying. Anyway, yeah, that's sad.
Anyway, really sad.
Sure is.
Just a rock icon, and so many of them. We're losing so many of them now. And it just shows, I guess, we're getting old. It's one of the sad realities of all of our musical heroes dying. Also, the U.S. is considering dramatically increasing Ukrainian troop support and training, which is interesting because that happened in Vietnam, too, if you remember correctly.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw this. I thought, wonder if the timeline is the same here.
It's about, I'll bet you it is. I bet it coincides pretty closely. And they just didn't talk about it at that time. We found out later. Oh, yeah, it was all the training that was going on. And then pretty soon there's 50,000 support troops there. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, now it's 150,000. Okay, we've just increased that to 250,000. So, I don't know. We got to stay on top of this because they will get us completely enmeshed in that.
Think of how much this administration has done just in 8 months. Regarding Ukraine.
It's crazy.
Dude's still in office for at least another 2+ years.
Right. Right.
What is Ukraine and the United States involvement there going to look like in January of 2025? Bookmark this show.
Don't know.
Because the prediction is it's going to suck for us.
Yeah. There's going to be troops on the ground. We're going to have boots on the ground. Which I don't like that term because it sounds like, you're putting a bunch of footwear in the country with nobody wearing them.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Thinking outside the box, outside the shoe there. That's a good point.
Because boots on the ground just kind of depersonalizes
it. Sure does.
Yeah. Don't like it.
I would love to look at the origins of that phrase.
Yeah, I would too.
Sell it as boots on the ground. Don't use the word troops. I guarantee you there's something there.
Probably. Also, last night, fearless leader Joe Biden, I guess he lit the national Christmas tree. That's so great. Shows just how sharp he is. Here he is doing it.
All right. Okay, they're waving.
He's not.
All right, he's being
he
told,
doesn't know what
let's
the hell.
go.
He doesn't know where he
So
is.
he's like, get out of here. Let's go. Huh?
Oh, okay.
But I have a microphone.
I'll follow Jill over
He
here.
has no idea where
None.
he is.
Absolutely none. He knows to follow Jill. That's what he knows.
There was a great comment on Twitter underneath this video, and it just said, follow the lady in green.
Yep.
Follow the lady in green.
Find out where your sister is going and go there too. I'm never going to let him live down the sister remark. But let's see that again from the beginning, because he doesn't know what he's doing, where he's going. He's got the microphone still. Put it down, doofus. Okay, so it's done. He's looking around. Jill waves. He can't even do that.
And LL Cool J is trying to help him out. He's like, yo. Remember.
And then she taps him on the arm to finally get him to pay attention. We're leaving now.
Oh, my gosh.
Because he didn't know.
I didn't see that.
He didn't know. Look at that. Now, okay, keep following my sister. Got it. All right. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
By the way, the expression boots on the ground has an extended military jargon history. It certainly dates back to at least British officer Robert Granger Kerr Thompson, strategist of the British counterinsurgency efforts. Yeah, right. Against the Malayan, I don't know. It doesn't, bullcrap. It comes from a Washington think tank.
Yes.
That wanted to dehumanize what we were doing in Vietnam.
Comes from liberals trying to change the true meaning of words.
That's what we're saying.
Oh, man. Also, here's a review of the Lion King.
What?
That has nothing to do with anything, just to throw it in for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so do you remember in The Lion King when everything was thriving and booming, absolutely amazing in the Pride Land under Mufasa? And then Scar decided to take Mufasa out so that he could steal the throne. And shortly after, it became a complete wasteland where they couldn't find food and they were miserable and hungry. I was just thinking about that today. And then there was that cackling hyena that was always behind Scar and super annoying.
Nothing to do with anything.
Right.
But anyway.
And then the hyena thing.
Yeah, really weird, right?
What is that? Oh, gotcha.
Anyway, back to Joe Biden related stuff.
Okay, back to the news. Okay.
I don't even know why we had that.
I thought that was weird. You
there.
just
weird.
like random videos apparently. Okay.
Then yesterday, Peter Doocy asked if Joe Biden would accept Kevin McCarthy's invitation to visit the border with him, and of course, that went over really well with KJP.
Kevin McCarthy says that he invited President Biden down to the border. How does the president RSVP?
Flip to the border. Has he RSVP'd?
we know the president's never been down to the border. The possible next speaker says that he wants him to go with him, so is he going to?
So look, he's been there. He's been to the border. And since he took office...
When did he go to the border?
Since he took office, the President Biden has been taking action to fix our immigration system and secure our border. And that's why on day one, he put forward an immigration reform, a piece of legislation to deal with what is currently happening at the border. But, that we're not seeing that from Republicans. We're not seeing a willingness to work with us on fixing a situation that's been around for decades now. Instead, they're doing political stunts. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to take care of the situation. But in the meantime, the president has secured record levels of funding for the Department of Homeland Security. We have over 23,000 agents working to secure the border. We've taken thousands of smugglers off the streets, and we're cutting down on asylum processing times. And a number of individuals arriving unlawfully from northern Central America and Venezuela is coming down significantly because of the actions that the president
That's because their countries are emptied out now. That's the deal.
Oh, my gosh.
Republicans are playing games. That's the problem.
I know. They really are. And that's why they cut it down to 250,000 illegals crossing the border last month. That's pretty good, right? So they're cutting it way back. How does she even with the straight face make statements like that? And so is Mayorkas, though. The border is secure. I mean, that's what they're sticking with. They're sticking to the story that the border is actually secure.
No shame.
And no reality to anything they're stating right now. It's the I am not here thing again. Because everybody knows the border isn't, even Democrats understand the border's not secure. Now, you might be okay with that, but you can't say the border is secure. You can say, hey, we're getting all kinds of immigrants crossing that border so that we can, fill more of these jobs that haven't been filled. Well, you can say that, but you can't say the border is secure because it isn't. That's just a bald-faced lie that completely denies reality. Wow.
Yeah, and all of this, to the point of Republicans are playing games, right? Now that, I don't know that applies now, but it would apply to during Trump's tenure because you could have avoided all this insanity if you had gotten behind him and secured and
built the wall. Build the wall.
Instead, you forced the man to do an executive order that on day one, poof.
It didn't even have to be a wall necessarily. You could have built that double fencing system that they built in San Diego that cut back on illegal crossings by 90 or 95%. It cut it way back because you had a fence and then you had a roadway where the Border Patrol passed through.
Yep.
And then you had another fence on the other side of the road. And it was really tough. And you had it secured with barbed wire.
Yeah,
and
we're not picky.
I'm not picky.
Exactly.
That would have been a lot less expensive and maybe even more effective. And they can't even do that. And that was mandated back in 2006 that the fence shall be built.
Oh, boy.
Thank you, Kay Bailey Hutchison, for stopping that. And another Texas senator, which unbelievable that we had to put up with her and Cornyn at the same time.
When your deep red states send those kinds of rhinos to Washington,
something's very wrong.
You really have no chance.
Yeah. And they almost convinced us, what was it, 2012? They almost convinced us that Ted Cruz he's not the right guy. No. Ted Cruz has these Chinese connections. And, we got to have, what's his face, Lieutenant Governor. Yeah, what was his name? I can't even remember it now. Remember?
Right.
He was the big darling of all the rich people, all the billionaires in Texas.
It actually feels good to forget stuff like that. You know?
It does.
Man.
David, was it David? I think so.
Yeah, you're on.
And they were married to him.
Yeah, Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst. Yes. I love that we forgot, actually.
I do, too.
That feels good to make space in your brain by eliminating a rhino in there.
Does show you the kind of job that Ted Cruz has done. We're not entirely happy with everything, but dang it, he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think you'll like something he said
today,
as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we got that coming up. Also, another pleasant surprise, Supreme Court oral arguments in a key immigration case grew heated as Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Biden's first nominee to the court, rejected the White House's interpretation of federal law.
I love this.
Wait, what?
Right?
Can that happen?
Credit where credit is due.
That's a thing in this world?
I know.
Jackson accused Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar of having a conceptual problem in her understanding of the Administrative Procedure Act, which requires the federal bureaucracy to take certain steps when changing policies. The case, brought by Texas and Louisiana, challenges Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas' 2021 memo that said federal agents should review the totality of an illegal immigrant's threat to public safety rather than automatically expel them for certain crimes for which a 1996 law says they shall be detained. It's amazing how many times that word shall has been completely ignored.
You keep using that word.
Yeah, I don't think it means what you think it means. The underlying legal dispute is complex, and the outcome would bear on only about 60,000 to 80,000 illegals who are also criminals. But A rebuke of the memo would be a black eye politically for Biden and potentially would allow states more avenues to enforce immigration law.
Yeah, so
which is exactly what we need.
Right. The Biden administration was just running roughshod over this process and not following the proper procedures as written in law. And Ketanji Brown Jackson was like,
really something.
I love the back and forth. The quotes are amazing. Yeah.
Wow. So these are Ketanji Brown. Yep. Here's some of what she said. The way that your readings, maybe she meant reading, the way that you're reading this actually creates a disconnect for me. Here's what I mean. It is clear that the claim under the APA is about the manner in which the agency has exercised its discretion. And we know that agencies have no inherent authority. They get all of their power to make valid and legally binding policies from Congress.
What is happening?
I know. This isn't Sam Alito.
Right.
This isn't any conservative or conservative perceived justice. This is Ketanji Brown Jackson. And Congress has said in the APA that in order to make valid and legally binding policies, agencies have to follow certain procedures. That's incredible. And they don't want to. I mean, this administration doesn't want to follow any procedure. Yeah. All they want to do is mandate things, put a pen to it, because of an executive order, and then move on.
Yeah, and this back and forth went on for a while. I mean, she would not let it go. And wow. You've got to think that after the fact, they're like in the car headed back to the office or whatever, like, what was that?
Yeah, no kidding.
We thought this was an ally on the bench.
Yeah.
A Biden administration attorney.
That's amazing.
That. Yeah.
Let me tell you about real estate agents I trust. These are the agents to turn to make the process a lot easier for you and a lot less stressful. Just bring some comfort into your life. And man, when you're trying to sell your home, you really need that because it's a stressful time in your life. I mean, it's a huge investment and you want to make the most of it. You want to get the most money for your home. You want to sell it in the least amount of time possible.
And let's just say hypothetical for you. Let's say you're looking at a house. You want to know if there's a potential beaver problem in the backyard.
Right.
You want to get the heads up on that.
You do.
Does this property have a beaver infestation?
Well, your realtor's probably going to know that.
Right. They'll tell you.
Because they know the market and they can. They're with these people all the time, so they hear things and they know things. So whether you're buying or selling or doing both because you're relocating, real estate agents I trust. It's the way to go. It's Glenn's company, and they've really vetted these agents, and they really care about you. realestateagentsitrust.com.
My mouth's bleeding, Bert!
My mouth's bleeding!
There they are! Bert! What do you know about that? Merry Christmas!
Pat Gray Unleashed.
December 1st. It is the 1st of December today.
Yeah. Hans Gruber is making his descent.
Yeah, now he can start to fall.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I have to check on that every day.
I love that. An Advent building, Christmas building.
Thank you, Tyler.
That you could fall out of. That's great. So on Tuesday, of course, day before yesterday, Nancy Pelosi had some thoughts on the impending rail strike. Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? It's right around Christmas time. Let's start a rail strike. Now, this is something that Biden was supposed to have taken care of.
He took credit for it in September.
Yeah, months ago. I took care of that because I'm a rail guy. So here's what Nancy had to say.
Again, I don't like going against the ability of unions to strike. But weighing the equities, we must avoid a strike.
Right. There you go. Wow.
I wonder how the unions like that.
My guess is they don't. But that's what you get with the Democrats. They pretend to be your friend, but they're not. They are not your friend. And I don't care who you are. They're only in it for their own political gain. They're only in it for themselves. And the second that you step over the line where it's not in their interest, they're going to snap you back so hard. They don't care about what these unions want. All they want is the money for their campaigns.
And it's 2 years until they're going to need the union vote to turn out. And by then...
And they'll forget about it by then.
And
completely forget about it.
I guess they're weighing the calculus here is that, look, it's rail workers. It's just one union. It's not every union that we're going against here. So anyway.
Amazing. Yeah. It's just amazing. Also, yesterday, I wanted to share this because the pandering this guy does is absolutely outrageous. Before we get too far away from Joe Biden, here's something he was talking about. He's on I don't know if he's talking to Native Americans. And
oh no.
I mean,
I don't know this.
Just crazy pandering.
No. Okay.
Check out what he had to say about the Indians.
You use that funding to address other critical needs as well, such as housing, food assistance, support for tribal economies, and for schools and language.
Yeah.
In fact, last year...
we had a little problem.
Jill and my wife traveled with Deb to the Cherokee Immersion School in Oklahoma.
Immersion School.
The Cherokee Nation used part of this funding to start building...
Why does it keep happening? Why does that keep
it's
happening?
Buffering. By the way, I got a new theory. Especially on this corner of the room.
Second school.
Maybe yours.
And revitalize
Wi-Fi
the use of the...
Wi-Fi issues?
Big time. Yeah, it's definitely here. And so in the morning, I have
bizarre.
to move over here and put my laptop closer to the door to get Wi-Fi.
What?
Yeah. So I think you're having a Wi-Fi buffering issue like I do in here.
All right. Let me see if I can get this to not buffer.
Real quick, while you're doing that, let me just say the House did pass that to override the strike potential. So now it heads to the Senate. We'll see what happens.
Right. Okay.
To the Cherokee Immersion School in Oklahoma.
Okay. The Immersion
Cherokee
School.
Nation used
I'm sorry. What was that? It's the Cherokee Immersion School.
Immersion School.
All right.
Language. In fact, last year, Jill and my wife traveled with Deb to the Cherokee Immersion School in Oklahoma.
Immersion School.
The Cherokee Nation used part of this funding to start building a second school and revitalize the use of the Cherokee language. Okay. By the way, she spent a lot of time on other reservations, other nations as well. I'm worried she's not going to come home one of these days when she goes. You think I'm joking? I'm telling you. I hear more about the Navajos than I hear about me.
Wow, sure? Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
You all think I'm kidding, don't you? Anyway.
No, I think you're pandering. That's what I think you're doing, like you always do. In fact, I know you are. First of all, you're telling Native Americans that you're worried your wife won't come home one of these days from a reservation, implying what?
I don't know.
That the Indians are holding her captive?
Oh, no.
That she's fallen for one of them and leaving you? I
think I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not joking. I'm very serious. But also, how much pandering can one person do?
Oh,
how much pandering?
Mm-hmm. He gets away with it, too.
In Idaho, he was a lumberjack, right? He wanted to or did work for Boise Cascade or whatever his story was about lumberjacking. Then he was a trucker. When he was with disaster victims, his house had burned to the ground because he had to experience a disaster as well. So his house burned to the ground with Jill in it. To Puerto Ricans, he claimed he was raised in a Puerto Rican neighborhood. Right. To blacks, he grew up in a black church. I mean, talking to football players, he was a star running back. To Jewish leaders and rabbis, he claimed to have spent more time in synagogues than they did. Mm-hmm. To rail workers, there's the lie about train guy Ange, who'd been dead for years and traveling 2 million miles on Amtrak. By the way, he also traveled 17,500 miles with Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
That's right.
Nobody can seem to track any of that, but he did it. There's the lies about being arrested during human rights marches here and in South Africa. Not to mention all of his lies about Bo dying in Iraq. And the lies he told about flying to Afghanistan to pin a Silver Star medal on a soldier, when in fact it was the Medal of Honor. Oh, and it didn't happen in Afghanistan. Oh, and it happened at the White House. And it wasn't him, it was Barack Obama.
Oh, my.
So, yeah, this guy knows how to pander. I mean, more than anybody ever, quite possibly. And if you If you go clear back into 1987, remember all the lies about his schooling. He had won 3 degrees, which he did not. He was at the top of his class, which he was not.
Plagiarized speeches.
Told people he was smarter than they are.
Oh, he even lied about the guy who got in the auto accident with his wife.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, he had a liquid lunch.
Right.
No, sir, he did not.
No, he didn't. My gosh.
Guy is a serial liar.
And the New York Times even did a story on it, and they found it folksy. That's all. And it didn't compare to the big fat lies that Donald Trump told. So if we're going to compare, I mean, we should really just talk about Trump's lies. When Biden has lied much more frequently about a lot of different things.
And so he has set the example. It should be no shock when we play clips from this administration where they're doing the same thing. Because they've seen their boss has gotten away with it for a career of a half a century in Washington, D.C. That's how you do it here.
Yeah. Well, he admitted at one point that he exaggerates when he's angry. And we've definitely seen that. Not only just exaggerates, he lies through his communist teeth when he's angry. And when he's not angry, as a matter of fact. So, I mean, what a despicable piece of garbage he is. Ugh. I can't take it.
I know, man.
I can't take it. And as time goes on, it gets harder and harder to deal with all this.
It sure does.
And we still have 2 years left, so
plus
we're going to have to try to pace ourselves a little bit with the disgust for this guy. Well, yeah, you're right. Plus.
I'm sorry.
Plus, what, about almost 2 months? 2 years and 2 months.
I hated that the morning after the election when Barack Obama got reelected. I remember walking out there to the set, and you and Stu and Glenn were out there getting ready for the show. I was like, well, we're less than halfway through this. And every one of you was like, get out. Shut up.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep, maybe a little too soon.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too soon. All right, we're going to get to this Ted Cruz stuff.
Yeah, it's 2.5 minutes long.
So, yeah.
I mean, if you want to play it now, we could hit it right to the top.
All right, let's go ahead and share what Ted Cruz had to say.
Hunter Biden's laptop, yep.
All right.
And did Vice President Joe Biden do anything that benefited the corrupt oligarch who was paying his son $1 million a year?
He did not.
He did not. Well, it's interesting. Someone who disagrees with you, Mr. Kent, is Joe Biden. And I want to read from what he said on January 23rd, 2018 at the Council of Foreign Relations. Quote, this is Joe Biden speaking. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kiev. And I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I'd gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, the prosecutor that was investigating Burisma. And they didn't. So Biden continues. I said, no, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here, and I think it was about 6 hours. I looked at them and said, I'm leaving here in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch, he got fired. Let me ask you something. Do you think Joe Biden holding $1 billion hostage to force the Ukrainian government to fire the prosecutor that is investigating the corrupt oligarch who's paying his son $1 million a year, did getting that prosecutor fired benefit that oligarch?
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Senator Van
Are you going to allow him to answer the question, Madam Chairman?
I am not going to allow him to answer the question.
Why are you covering for the Vice President? Do you not want him to answer that question? He said that the Vice President does nothing to benefit the oligarch.
I think it's unfortunate for you, Senator Cruz, to put in position that are uncomfortable the nominees to be our ambassadors.
Okay, this is his sworn testimony. This is his sworn testimony. I understand that you want to cover for the Vice President.
That he is going to raise those concerns anytime.
Was his testimony true or false that Biden did nothing to benefit the oligarch? Let him answer the question. Why are you afraid of him answering the question?
I'm not. I just want to move on.
But you won't let him answer. I asked a yes-no question. Will you allow him to answer the yes-no question?
Yes, you can answer yes or no. Thank you.
The prosecutor who was fired by the Ukrainian parliament did nothing to investigate Zlochevsky, and everything that Vice President Biden, the State Department, and the U.S. Embassy acted in good faith to reduce corruption and help the Ukrainian.
I can't listen to
firing him did not.
But that's why we forgot about David Dewhurst right there, because Ted Cruz.
Yes.
Still great to have him as a U.S. Senator from Texas. Thanks for being with us. We got some tweets here. Kevin Thompson tweets. So far, Biden has been a farmer, a trucker, a lifeguard, a coal miner, an award-winning lineback flanker.
Wow.
You know, the thing. But now he's been to the border? Yeah, no. Nor has he been any of the other things, but he loves to claim this stuff. Jeffy's Polynesian pen pal tweets. I don't know how relevant it is, but one of the hyenas behind Scar was voiced by Whoopi Goldberg.
That's right.
Forgot about that. No, it's pretty relevant. Also from Hogasm, as a former union member, I can say that the unions don't like it, not one bit, and they will still vote Democrat. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. Lutheran housewife, when KJP says the border is secure, what she really means is the border is functioning exactly the way we want it to. Importing new undocumented workers equals securing Democratic political fortunes. That's what they think. I think the tide is turning there with Hispanics, though. Adrian Slade tweets, who had Ketanji Brown Jackson will rule more objectively than Amy Coney Barrett on their 2022 bingo card.
Right.
Yeah, not many. Anyway. We played the Ted Cruz Hunter Biden laptop clip as Ted Cruz trying to hold people's feet to the fire. Yesterday, Elon Musk said that Twitter has interfered with elections. Okay. Huh. That's weird, because I was sure that Twitter was completely non-biased.
Sure.
What do you mean they've interfered with elections? Huh. A former high-up at Twitter admitted, yeah, they suppressed Hunter Biden's laptop story on the eve of the 2020 election, and he says they shouldn't have done that. But did he actually do anything about it? No, he did not. No, he didn't want him to lose his job, so he went along. They told him to do it, and he did it. I didn't want to, but it was orders from higher-ups. Seems like we heard that somewhere before. Oh, that's right, the Nazis. Yeah, the Nazis in World War II, a lot of them were just following orders. I'm just following orders. And I don't have that restriction anymore where we hold that back because they throw it out at us every day, all day, every day. We're Nazis, we're fascists. Okay. Well, here's some real fascist moves. Also, Democrats apparently don't like the new direction for Twitter, obviously, because, my gosh, there could be people who believe differently than they do on that same forum. What would happen? Oh, my God. Well, they can't handle it. Elizabeth Warren had some thoughts about that yesterday.
Republicans say that Democrats are picking on Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is doing just fine.
But do you think that users have a right to freedom of speech, even if what they're saying is wrong or offensive?
I think that one human being should not decide how millions of people communicate with each other. One human being should not be able to go into a dark room by himself and decide, oh, that person gets heard from, that person doesn't. That's not how it should work.
Well, okay, that's what he's trying to overcome.
No kidding.
That's exactly what Elon Musk is trying to correct. That is so bizarre.
It's specifically why he bought Twitter in the first place.
Yes. She is complaining about what was happening at Twitter before he took over. That's what happened then. They were banning people and going into a dark room and deciding who could speak and who couldn't. He's undoing all of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Liz should have stuck with her original instincts and just kept walking. But she stopped for the reporter and said, you know what? I got something really witty here.
Right.
This is a good line about Elon Musk in a dark room.
And you just pissed me off so much. I'm gonna use it now. Because I'm gonna show you and prove to you that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
It's not enough for you just to assume I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to
Which we all
it.
did.
Yeah.
Which we all knew to begin with.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Isn't it?
And it's the big Democrat machine and their allies in big tech.
Yep.
And they can't believe that one of theirs, Twitter, is now against their philosophy and their way of governance.
Yeah.
And so now they're lining up, Apple leading the way, to go against Twitter. It's fascinating to watch this, and the arguments are so lame.
That'll be really something if Apple does ban the app from their app store. I mean, wow. That'd be quite a move.
Yeah, and I mean, there'll be ways around it, right? You get it off the internet, I suppose.
Yeah.
But still,
I suppose.
It's...
still, that's a big move.
Battle lines over free speech are being drawn right now.
And the Democrats are doing everything they can to shut down free speech, to shut down one side of it anyway. They want free speech for everybody who thinks just like they do. That's fine. But don't you dare have a conflicting point of view, because we can't win arguments if you do. And that's their biggest problem. They just can't compete on the battlefield of ideas. Now we have Louisiana Democrats who are getting some prison time for a vote buying scheme. No. What?
No.
I won't have it with this election denying stuff. Former Democratic Amite City, Louisiana police chief Jerry Trabona and city councilwoman Christian Chris Hart were sentenced to 1 year in prison yesterday for violating federal election laws after it was discovered they were buying votes. No, that can't happen. Trabona, 73, and Hart, 50, each received 1 year in prison following an investigation led by the FBI's New Orleans field office, which showed that Trabona and Hart worked to hire individuals to identify potential voters, transport the voters, and offer payment to the voters.
Wow, it's full service. Full service vote day.
Yep. Provided they voted in the requested manner, they would get all of those benefits. Okay. Alongside the 1 year prison sentence, Trabona was ordered to pay a $10,000 fine, and another unnamed conspirator was sentenced to 4 months in prison. So at least 3 Democrats involved in this were actually purchasing votes. Wow. And they were able to successfully buy the votes by providing sample ballots with the desired candidate name and number. The ballots were for Hart, Trabona, and other preferred candidates. In some cases, Hart paid voters to identify those who had not voted, take them to the polls, then pay for their votes, too. To help cover up the operation, Trabona required that vote buyers sign a contract stating that they would not make any overture of any kind to any voter other person a financial award or benefit in exchange for a vote. All right, so they've got an illegal contract to bind them to this illegal activity, and they wouldn't illegally do it with anybody else. This is unbelievable. Awesome. The vote buyers were paid up to, I mean, they were cheap too.
Huh.
Yeah, you may be cheap, but you're also easy. The vote buyers were paid up to $20. That's it.
What?
For each, okay, well, $20 for every vote they brought in. So if you got a whole bunch of other people to also vote for these Democrats, you got 10 of them, you got $200. A vote buying bribe is considered anything having monetary value, including cash, liquor, lottery chances, and welfare benefits such as food stamps, according to the DOJ. The charges follow an initial 2018 investigation into violations of election laws in Louisiana. There's no evidence that anybody's cheating. These Democrats are cheating in these elections. There's no evidence of it. Stop being an election denier. Okay.
Maybe on a small scale it's happening.
Yeah, maybe
here and there.
a couple of times here or there, but it didn't change anything.
Nothing organized or anything.
And this is small potatoes compared to what we know is actually really happening. I mean, when you watch 2,000 Mules and you see what scale they were doing things on, and that was only a teeny tiny portion of it, there's some real issues right now.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
I think we've written off the Georgia election coming up on Tuesday, because we are not.
We've got no faith in it.
Because Herschel Walker isn't up by 6+.
Yeah,
we're like, it's close. Oh, that's Democrat.
I mean, I hate that too.
Yes,
I hate it.
Mm-hmm. But Georgia, Georgia passed a very similar law to Texas.
Yeah.
I guess Georgia was first, right? Yeah. So, you know,
I think they were.
They cleaned up a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe he's got a shot.
Maybe.
We had a story yesterday of a new survey. He's up by 1.
Okay.
48, 47. Still within the margin of error, though. So who knows? We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed. It really would be a bad thing for Warnock to win that election, and then they've got 51 instead of just 50. It changes everything, because then if he were to come to his senses once or twice, Joe Manchin wouldn't be able to be the decider on it, because you got that extra vote. So just be tough.
I want it to be 50-50, and then I want Manchin to be like, oh yeah, and I'm a Republican now.
Oh,
suckers.
Would love that. That would be great.
Pipe dreams, baby.
Yeah. Tragically, every single minute, unborn babies' futures are sucked out of existence. But amid the darkness, there's a light that shines, and that light is preborn. Preborn introduces mothers considering abortion to their unborn babies through ultrasound. Once they hear that heartbeat, once they see that precious life, 80% of the time they choose life. Preborn pregnancy clinics are positioned in top abortion areas where most abortions still take place. That's because Planned Parenthood positions their clinics in those minority areas. And that's why in places like New York, more black babies are aborted than born alive. But preborn doesn't stop there. They love and support these mothers with maternity clothes, diapers, counseling, and lots more for up to 2 years. So this would be a really great way to not only save the lives of innocent, but to do some good for the person who has chosen to bring that life into existence. Preborn is completely dependent on you, the pro-life community, as they fight the giants. For $28, just $28, you can rescue a baby's life. Or $140 sponsors 5 ultrasounds. And now through Match, your gift is doubled. 100% of your donation will go towards saving babies. Their goal is to save 50,000 Blaze babies. So we really hope you can join us. Just dial pound 250, pound 250, and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or donate securely at preborn.com. That's preborn.com/Pat.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Just so you know, Sam Bankman-Fried is deeply sorry. Yeah, just like we talked about yesterday with Stanford, who's deeply, deeply sorry about what they did with their halftime show. Sam Bankman also now feels deep regret about what he did, although there was no fraud involved. He wants you to know that, too.
Oh, that's good.
Okay? He just did some stupid things that caused the collapse of the company that you may or may not be invested in. Yeah, it was his first public appearance since the collapse of FTX. He was asked a bunch of questions, like if he thinks he did anything wrong. Here's what he had to say.
Right now, are you in the Bahamas because you think you can't leave?
No, I'm in the Bahamas. I have been in the Bahamas for the last year, and I've been running FTX from the Bahamas. Been running FTX Digital Market, our primary operating entity down here.
Look at the camera
with Bahamian
look up
regulators and and others in contact, and right now I'm looking to be helpful anywhere I can with any of the global entities that that
he wants to be helpful, Pat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you think you could come to the United States or go elsewhere?
What do you think? Come on up.
I to my knowledge, I could.
Okay,
you could.
Have you thought about doing that?
I've thought about it, and
he's thought about it, and decided not to. Apparently,
I've seen a lot of the obviously a lot of the hearings that have been happening.
Financially now. He can't afford it.
Would not be surprised if Sometime I am, up there talking about what happened to our representatives or,
Get up here.
wherever else is most appropriate.
Or whatever
How concerned
else.
are you about criminal liability at this point?
So I don't think that, obviously I don't personally think that I have,
You don't.
But
what?
I think
You don't
the
what?
real answer is that's not, it sounds weird to say, but I think the real answer is that's not what I'm focusing on.
It's not what he's focusing on. I see. Mhm.
There's going to be a time and a place
That's
for
the
me to
real answer. Okay.
sort of think about myself and my own future, but I don't think this is it. Right now, look, I've had a bad month. This has not been any fun month for me.
It hasn't been any fun
That's
for
not
him,
what
dude.
matters.
It's not been
here.
fun.
What matters here is
He's had a bad
the
month.
millions of customers. What matters
He's had
here
a bad month.
is all the stakeholders in FTX who got hurt and
Lost
trying to do everything I
millions
can
in
to
some
help
cases.
them out.
He's going to help
And
them.
All right. Good.
as long as that's the case, I don't think that I don't think that what happens with me is the important part of that, and I don't think that's what it makes sense for me to be focusing on.
Huh. Okay. So
You're convinced, right? He's cool.
I don't think that's not what I'm focused. I'm not focused on that right now.
You talked about people losing their savings. Check out this when he was asked about the letter that he received.
Okay.
One of the guys, the interviewer.
One of the letters I got, I want to read to you, Sam, because it's from a gentleman who said that he lost his life savings. And the subject line is Sam Bankman-Fried stole $2 million from me. It says, Andrew, can you please ask SBF why he decided to steal my life savings?
Oh, wow.
And the $10 billion more from customers to give to his hedge fund, Alameda. Can you ask him why his hedge fund was leveraging long all of these S coins? I'm going to keep it polite for the kids. Please ask him if he thinks what happened was fraud. These are the kinds of letters that I've been getting repeatedly over the past several days. What do you tell this man?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm deeply sorry about what happened.
See?
Okay, there you go.
The end.
Well, he's deeply
We're done.
sorry. Yeah. Okay, you lost $2 million, but he's deeply sorry about it. So let's move on, shall we?
By the way,
Unbelievable.
Beto O'Rourke, we've talked about the Democrats who have benefited from SBF in this incredible money laundering scheme through Ukraine. He gave $1 million check back just before the election. I think Beto said, oh, crap, I see what's happening here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That is one weird dude. He's a strange
Beto?
guy. Yeah, no, Beto and SBF. Pat Gray. Tweets here from Disinformation Show Loophole. I have a strong feeling Walker was riding Kemp's coattails in the initial go-round. This is entirely gut feeling, but I'm guessing he loses by about 5 points. Jeez, that would suck. Bad Engineer tweets, the problem in Georgia is Warnock is running 4 ads for every one Walker ad. Haven't seen one Walker billboard, and I've seen a bunch of Warnock ones. The Dems are spending money, the Republicans are not. Jeez. From Quiet Storm, now do the president. The student loan forgiveness scam was a vote-buying scheme.
Yeah. Another court shut that down yesterday.
They keep shutting it down.
You sure do.
Over and over and over, and they just keep proceeding. Yeah, you know what? We're going to continue the moratorium on actually paying back your debt. You don't have to. It's going on what? They've pushed that date back to where you have to restart paying your student loan debt again, and they just keep pushing that deadline further and further down the road. They're just doing what they said the courts say they can't do.
This sounds like a stable government.
Doesn't it, though?
Sounds like a nation that has got everything
completely under control.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Jimmy Dimples says Bankman-Fried is sorry that he got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Simons, is it me or does Bankman-Fried sound like he swallowed helium?
That's a good description.
Mr. Shawns, in the 80s, that kid would have peaked at assistant manager at Perkins. Yet, here we are.
Here we are, 2022.
Yep. It's for sure. Speaking of which, here was one more question that was asked at this little forum where where Sam Bankman-Fried appeared on video from the Bahamas, and I guess the guy that was interviewing him had a live studio audience. Anyway, he was asked if he thinks he's lied
today.
Have you lied to us today?
Yeah. I was as truthful as I'm knowledgeable to be. There's some things I wish I knew more about, but yes, I was.
Now let me ask you this: do you agree that over time you also lied?
Do I agree that I lied? I don't know of times when I lied. I think, look, there are certainly times when I was acting as a representative, as a marketer for FTX.
That's the key.
There you go. There were times when I was acting as a marketer for FTX. Oh, I bet there were times when you were doing that. And, as a marketer, you're not necessarily telling the truth, but you're sort of not lying. I mean, you're giving them the basic information, but you're embellishing a little bit because you're trying to sell people on your product.
Proceeds, it's going to be interesting to see.
Wow.
Because remember, Maxine Waters wanted to go ahead and take care of this now. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's have him up here and testify, and we'll get to the bottom of this before Democrats have to hand over the reins of power. It's going to be interesting to see how this proceeds because there's going to be a lot of fingerprints, I feel, between him and the Democrat Party. And so it'll be interesting to see how interested they are in getting to the bottom of this. So Republicans holding the House, we'll see.
I mean, he's their second largest donor.
Sure is.
For the last election cycle. Second largest. Behind only George Soros. And then it's SBF. Wow. That's really something.
I think we found out why there's so many Raphael Warnock ads in Georgia right now.
Yeah. I mean, the Democrats, though, have unlimited funds. They're being funded by, gigantic billionaires like George Soros, what's his face from Amazon,
Jeff Bezos.
They're all being funded by these massive billionaires. Warren, fat piece of crap, Buffett. So really, they do have access to unlimited funds. They really do.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. But billionaires are evil. Oh, unless they're giving to the Democrat Party.
You go.
Then they're not.
There you go.
Then they're good. They're good people who just worked really hard for that money. I mean, look at Warren, fat piece of crap Buffett. He lives in the same mud hut that he lived in when he was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I didn't know of. Now, what I did know is that it's shameful, but his secretary
makes... She, you know what?
She
pays so much in taxes, but makes much less than he does.
Ridiculous.
Pays more in taxes.
It's ridiculous.
It is. And Warren's such a good guy that he even talked about that. Well, then why don't you pay her more?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Could do that. Or you know what you could do? You could just go ahead and sign a check. Nothing's stopping you.
U.S. government.
When you're filing your taxes,
you could.
You can give more. Just give it all, bro.
Because, I mean, this is a guy who's so down to earth and so not like other billionaires, like Elon Musk.
Right.
I mean, this guy is driving an old truck that he bought in 1947. It doesn't even have wheels on it anymore. That is how much he cares about the little people.
Wait, Warren Buffett's 1947 truck doesn't even have wheels?
Doesn't have wheels.
Can we fact check that? Wow. So
it doesn't even have a motor, Keith.
What?
He uses it. You know what he did? He cut the floorboard out of it, and he runs around town like a Flintstone vehicle.
Okay, now I got it. I got to see this. I want somebody to draw a cartoon.
So he just essentially picks it up on both sides of the vehicle, and then uses his feet to run around town.
Warren Buffett.
He's a fat piece of crap. That didn't really fit.
We're close to it. We're almost
close.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
So Warren Buffett running around Omaha. It is no, it doesn't work.
No, we'll have to think about that. Maybe we won't sing it live. Maybe we'll wait and come up with
But
something.
I didn't know that. I learned something new every day on Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yeah, he's awesome. 2 members of Oath Keepers that aren't awesome, though, that were found guilty of seditious conspiracy. We've got spies who are selling secrets to our enemy who haven't been convicted of something this strong. Seriously, that aren't being convicted of seditious conspiracy. But man, if you went inside the Capitol building, wow, what a traitor you are. You're lucky you don't get the death penalty. FBI's biggest ever investigation. Their biggest ever investigation?
Think of that.
Their biggest ever investigation is January 6th.
Bro.
That is staggering.
It's not D.B. Cooper, right?
No, right.
It's not.
Which has been going on for 50 years.
It's not Al Capone.
Wow.
It's not the JFK assassination.
Right.
It's you parading and milling around the Capitol building on January 6th.
Gosh. Well, do we have the heinous crimes that were committed? Do we have that? The milling? Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
That right
Look
there.
at the milling and the parading. No wonder.
That right there that you're watching, that gets more attention from the Federal Bureau of Investigation than the mob.
Yeah, than anything ever investigated in the history of this nation. And Democrats are like, yeah, well, it deserves it. It's the biggest thing to ever happen. It's bigger than 9/11. It's bigger than Pearl Harbor. Is it? Okay. All right.
This government sucks.
A filing in the case of one of the January 6 suspects, David Ryan, shows that Google initially identified 5,723 devices as being in or near the U.S. Capitol during the riot. Only around 900 people have so far been charged with offenses relating to the siege. 900
It calls
people.
it a siege.
So I don't know how familiar you are with the geofence dragnet, but they just capture all of the signals that happened on that day and then start going and showing up at these people's homes and figuring out, why were you there? What are you doing? What were you doing? I don't know. I walked by
In
the
many
Capitol
cases,
building.
They were showing up at people that had nothing, that weren't even there.
Yeah, that weren't there. Jeez. The filing suggests dozens of phones that were in airplane mode during the riot or otherwise out of cell service were caught up in the investigation. Nor could users erase their digital trails later. That's good to know. That's
telling you,
good
man.
to know.
This is our future now.
In fact, 37 people who attempted to delete their location data following the attacks were singled out by the FBI for greater scrutiny.
They even know when you're messing with your phone.
Oh, my gosh.
NSA, man. Edward Snowden tried to warn us.
Wow. Geofence search warrants are intended to locate anyone in a given area using digital services. Now, we talked about this I guess it's probably been a couple years ago, because there was a robbery.
Yeah.
And then was the woman killed in the house?
Oh, no.
Just robbed, right?
Yeah, so somebody's house got broken into.
And it was the biker.
Well, this guy would go on a jog, I think, or maybe it was a bike ride. But
Jogging
every
or
day he
biking.
would go by the house.
Yep.
And so they thought he was casing the joint when they looked at his geo data.
Yeah, he got caught up in that investigation. They were very close to arresting him.
Right.
Fortunately, the guy got wind of it and went to a lawyer, and the lawyer helped him, not wind up in prison. So this is a very dangerous situation because they're going to assume all kinds of things if you were there, if you were caught up in this dragnet.
Okay, so hang on. Let's just stop for a second here. If they have this ability, and not only the case that you mentioned, but January 6th, then why has it been over 2 weeks in Idaho and we have no idea? The police have no clue
really
who
weird.
killed the 4 college kids in their house.
Right.
Granted, did the killer have his cell phone on him? Who knows?
Maybe not.
But certainly, there's got to be people in proximity to the victims, and leading up to that, right? You'd think.
You'd think.
I don't know, man. So on one hand, you can say, "Wow, this sure is Big Brother." Wow, look at this 1984 playing out for us, dragging everybody into this situation that has nothing to do with it necessarily. But at the same time, we sit back and we say,
No idea what happened in Idaho.
What's
where
going on? Why can't we use this for that?
4 college students get murdered in one night. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows how. Nobody knows who.
They have thrown out every theory they can think of, and they have no idea.
Because Google's location history system is both powerful and widely used, the company is served about 10,000 geofence warrants in the U.S. each year. Okay, so 10,000 of these warrants every year. Location history leverages GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth signals to pinpoint a phone within a few yards, so they know right where you are all the time.
Yeah.
Although the final location is still subject to some uncertainty, it is usually much more precise than triangulating signals from cell towers. Location history is turned off by default, but around a third of Google users switch it on, enabling services like real-time traffic prediction.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, that's the that's the catch.
So if you use an app that helps you navigate your city, then you could be caught up in this dragnet.
And don't forget, Google owns Waze as well.
Yeah, right. All right.
So,
jeez.
Yeah, I'm just checking here. Location, because I have mine. What? Why do I have earthquake alerts on? I didn't ask for that. Huh.
The geofence warrants served on Google shortly after the riot remain sealed. But lawyers for Ryan, a Washington man accused of various federal crimes on January 6th, recently filed a motion to suppress the geofence evidence. The motion, which details the warrants' process and scale, was first reported by the Empty Wheel blog, far-left blog that Maricopa County follows.
Talked about them, Maricopa County.
Interesting.
Following that liberal blog who reported on this thing. You know what? We should do an experiment today. We should all turn location off on our phone today and see how fun life is.
Yeah. Every time you go on your phone, it'll beg you to turn it back on. It'll function much better if you turn location finder on. Oh, will it?
Let me just.
Will it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. I turned it off. And then I switched to the map thing, and I tried to do a route, and it just says to continue, turn on device's location.
Yeah, they do not want you to have that off.
Where's the nearest Chick-fil-A? See, let's see what happens here. Chick-fil-A, maps. Let's see here. Let's just
without your location being on.
Well, it's annoying because it shows me all the Chick-fil-A's, but it doesn't show me where I am.
Oh, okay.
So.
But it does show you the ones around here?
Well, I mean, it shows me like all over North Texas.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a few.
So, but it doesn't show me the little blue dot, you see?
Right.
So, this is pointless. Anyway, there you go. They got all the Chick-fil-A's, but it doesn't know where I am.
Wow.
So, have fun with your cell phone. I think the takeaway here is if you're going to murder someone, you should turn location services off. I think that's our takeaway here. Right?
Sounds like a Jeffy safety tip. Let me tell you about Rough Greens. You love your dog. Your dog is part of your family. You want the best. And Rough Greens will help you provide the best for them because you just sprinkle this on whatever dog food you use, and it transforms your dog food into something really good for your dog. Because if you use the dry kibble stuff, everything good has been, burned out of it in the sterilization process. They need it to be able to last on the store shelf for 2 to 3 years. And so everything gets burned out, but Rough Greens puts back the nutrients, the vitamins and minerals and probiotics and antioxidants that will make your dog happy and healthy and active again. So just feed this to them and watch the changes occur. Plus, Rough Greens want you to be sure that your dog is going to enjoy the taste of this and go ahead and eat it. So they don't want you to waste your money, just in case. They're going to send you a free bag. You can try it out for a few days, see if your dog loves it. Then jump in with both feet if they do. All you have to pay is shipping on this initial bag. Just go to roughgreens.com, RUFF, or call 833-783-3364.
Pat Gray.
She's another totally healthy 45-year-old man. Goes to bed, goes to sleep. His family says completely fine. He didn't wake up. Ever. He died in his sleep. Perfectly healthy otherwise. Well, except for the death part. 45 years old.
Yeah, filmmaker, right?
Right. Yes.
Frank Tartaglia.
Yep. But again, this is just completely normal. It happens all the time.
Well,
it's been happening since the dawn of time.
I will see your 45-year-old Philadelphia filmmaker,
okay,
and raise you a 37-year-old Red Dirt singer-songwriter, Jake Flint, who died just hours after his wedding.
Oh my gosh.
But
did his wife kill him? She stab him in the throat or something?
Okay.
One of those things?
Hold on.
Smothered him with a pillow.
Okay. So
what happened?
Now you know the rest of the story.
So he went to bed and died in his sleep as well?
I think it was. I don't know. I just know it was unexpected. Yep, died in his sleep. Yeah.
What is going on?
Exchanging vows, yeah.
Okay, young people don't just die in their sleep. Can we ask a few questions here or what? Can we even bring up whether or not,
try.
they've had all of the mandated things done to them that are supposed to be, I guess, according to this government? And if they have, could that have played a part in them dying in their sleep?
So in New Zealand, a complete non sequitur here, of course, these parents of a 4-month-old, the baby needs a heart surgery, and the parents insist on non-vaccinated blood.
Oh, wow.
And again, I don't know why I'm bringing it up here, but they want to be assured that it's. And anyway, the government's taking them to court.
Really?
It's like, wait, just find them unvaccinated blood.
Yeah, what's the big deal?
Of course, it's New Zealand. You probably can't find it there.
Jeez. Is it too hateful? What, you're discriminating against the blood of the vaccinated?
Yeah.
Why would they care?
Yeah, they're calling the parents conspiracy theorists, and they're
And
harming
so
the
what?
children. And yeah, I know.
So what? Just give them what they want and shut up.
I wonder if.
Wow.
I don't know the details too well here. In that, could the parents donate the blood?
I was just going to ask that
I know you
question.
have to have the right kind of blood to match.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the issue there.
I don't know. Maybe. Wouldn't the parents, you would think the parents would be compatible, but maybe not. I don't know.
At least one of them.
But, there's nothing unusual going on here, though.
No.
Stuff has happened since the dawn of time. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Remember all the stories we used to have, like 10, 15 years ago, about, 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds dying in their sleep? Remember all those?
The SADS?
Yeah, the sudden adult death syndrome.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tons. I mean, it was kind of, you and I have been working together for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and I remember it was over 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you got mad at me. You're like, okay, can we talk about something else?
Yeah, can we stop with the 15, 20, 25-year-olds dying in their sleep?
I was like, bro, I'm sorry. It's
I'm sorry about it, but come on, let's stop talking about
sad.
it.
It's
everywhere. That was
2001,
2001, I think. The summer of 2001, we were talking about that.
So,
yeah, it doesn't happen. So something is going on.
Life expectancy age is going to really start dropping off, it feels like.
I mean, seriously, every day we've got these stories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, somebody else, filmmaker, songwriter, basketball player, somebody dies in their sleep for no apparent reason. Otherwise, completely healthy, and then all of a sudden, they're dead.
One
Bizarre.
thing I want... got to watch Died Suddenly, right? And we've played videos of people just dying suddenly. We've had these. One thing that tends to happen a lot of times is they'll do this. They'll look up like they're looking at something, and their head just will turn around to the left, and then they fall over and die. What is that?
Oh, weird.
Oh, yeah, it's
really
creepy. You got to see
I didn't
this,
know that part. That's really weird.
And you know what it makes you think of? It makes me think of Ghost, like all the little...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man.
Weird.
It's
just
creepy.
Weird.
I don't like it, and I would like answers, but don't ask those questions.
Is this a good time to give a recap of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season that was so brutal, so vicious, so bad?
Yeah, because it ended yesterday, right?
It ended yesterday.
Okay, we're out of the woods.
So we're out of the woods. Nothing can happen now.
Nothing. It's like
we're in a dome of safety now.
Tell the oceans we're closed until next year.
Yep. I don't even want to hear about swirling, eyes of storms and things. I don't want to hear it. So this season, there were 14 named storms. On average, there are 14 named storms. Whoa! Oh my gosh!
Crazy.
The increased frequency and intensity.
Uh-huh.
Well, we haven't gotten to intensity yet, but we're about to.
Holding on to that fact.
Okay, this season there were 8 hurricanes. There are 7 on average. Whoa! The extreme weather phenomenon.
Oh, I guarantee you there's a headline somewhere. It says, more hurricanes
than average.
I'm looking it up while you go. Okay.
Major hurricanes, I don't know where they get this, but they say there were 2. I only know of one. One that hit Florida, and it was bad. I mean, I do not want to diminish the severity of that. What was the name of that one? Ian. Mm-hmm. Hurricane Ian was terrible. It was really bad. It was devastating. On average, there are 3 major hurricanes. I actually count 1. I think they've given credit for something. There was another Florida hurricane that made landfall, but it was a category 1.
Yeah,
that's not major.
Might have been something. Yeah, I don't.
Nothing hit the U.S.
That's right. That was Mexico that crossed. I don't know.
Nothing hit the U.S. mainland other than the major storm, Ian. That was the only one. But where is there more frequent, more intense thing? Where is that? Again, this is either normal or below normal, all the way down the line. Will they ever talk about that? No, of course not. No. You won't see Biden go to a microphone today and talk about how the hurricane was a little bit below average this year, the hurricane season.
This is Pat Gray.
December 1st. And, of course, time for our favorite Christmas song of all time.
Definitely.
Tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
There you go.
For people unfamiliar, Glenn Beck decided to put that song on a Christmas CD years ago, and so Pat's been enjoying it ever since.
Right, yes. And it's such a great CD. That's maybe not my favorite cut of all time off of it, but the David Osmond version of what is it he sings?
The Christmas song?
Come All Ye Faithful.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Brilliant. And maybe one of the best ever. Also on that is a rendition of Oh Holy Night that is unforgettable. It's a great CD.
This is
Believe
Again. Is it Believe or Believe Again? Anyway, I see it. It's on Spotify and iTunes, it looks like. So
okay. Good.
I wonder if they make you pay for it.
Huh.
I bet you have to buy it.
You think?
I have no idea.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Why would you? We don't have to buy anything on Spotify.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just saw a $sign before I clicked on that link. But now I opened up my Spotify, which, by the way, Spotify knows too much. That knows too much.
They do, but what an awesome app that
cool
is.
Thing,
oh, my gosh.
I've been listening to my top 100 songs from 2022. But yeah, it looks like Glenn Beck presents Believe Again.
Believe Again.
And just press play, and you can enjoy that on Spotify.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And we suggest you do that during the holiday season. The Christmas season, as it were. While we're throwing around, words like sedition and treason as we are with the January 6th people who've been convicted, and man, are they ever going after the people with the Oath Keepers? I don't know much about Oath Keepers, but is it really a treasonous organization that's trying to overthrow the U.S. government? Get out of here. It's just asinine. But anyway, maybe we need to look at this lovely little meme was sent our way about treason. Treason, it says. You don't steal an election, give money and weapons to the Taliban, destroy your military, destroy the food supply, destroy energy and gas, disassemble your border, and encourage an invasion of your own country, and it not be a treasonous act against your own country and people.
This is hypothetical, correct?
Yeah, right. Right.
Just making sure.
If anybody was ever doing those things, then they'd be obviously traitors. Treasonous. Yeah, the off chance that would ever happen.
We would just, what we're doing is we're trying to show you what treason would look like.
Right.
If it were occurring.
Any of those things were happening.
Correct.
And of course, when you think of the Biden administration that we currently have and all their successes, the first thing that comes to mind, what is the first success that comes to mind when you think Joe Biden?
I just got to give you one?
All right, yeah, give me one.
How much time I got?
Just a few seconds, because it's only one.
One thing.
Afghanistan.
Oh,
Let's not
definitely.
be coy. You know it's Afghanistan. Okay?
Sorry.
Don't try to play that game with me, Keith.
Yeah,
you
my
know
bad.
Afghanistan was one of their biggest successes.
It should have rolled right off the tongue.
It should have. I can't believe it didn't. But John Kirby was asked about that yesterday, and here's what he had to say.
Let's talk about the Defense Department's annual report, because it is saying that Biden's fumbled withdrawal from Afghanistan was a propaganda gift to China. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not. And I don't know that that's the Pentagon's
Mm.
assessment that it was a propaganda gift to China. If anything, nations like China and Russia took a look at what we did in Afghanistan, and we've talked about this many, many times over the last year, and had to marvel at the speed, the efficiency, and the effectiveness that a very small number, number of troops. Brian, you listen to me now. Hear me out. A small number of troops were able to move that many Afghans safely out of that country. No other nation in the world can do that.
And in fact, this nation did not do that. You know who did it? Were private entities like Chad Robichaux.
Oh yeah,
Chad was he put together 12 former special forces guys and worked with Mercury One and got financed by them and rescued 12,000 people. That was not done by the U.S. military. The U.S. military left all those people behind. It was heroes who acted on their own volition that went in there and saved thousands, tens of thousands of people. I mean, Chad was just one of them. Mercury One, just one organization. I mean, they saved a lot of people, but there were others involved as well. Yeah, and it was a job that Chad shouldn't have had to done. Mercury One shouldn't have had to do, because the U.S. military should have been the ones to do it.
Yeah, Task Force Pineapple also, where my buddy Ian Patterson was one of those involved, where if you show up at the airport and you either tell the person at the gate, about pineapple, or show them a picture of a pineapple on your phone or something like that, that was your pass. So a lot of people had to do this undercover without cooperation from this government. They were actively working against getting people out there safely. So for him to go on TV and say, "Oh, it was so efficient, we did such a great job," screw you.
Just lie. Oh, they marveled at it. Really? The Chinese and Russians marveled?
and we said this at the time. We said, when this vacuum was created and the Americans withdrew, this is going to be a sign of weakness, and these countries are going to align themselves with places like China and Russia.
That's exactly what happened. Exactly
and
what
that's
happened.
what the report says that he's denying.
They probably did marvel, too, at the U.S. military leaving behind $80 billion worth of equipment. Weapons and equipment. $80 billion worth. Yeah, that's something to marvel about. Jeez, I mean... Wow. I don't know what fantasy land they live in, but it must be a really nice experience to just completely ignore reality and live in your own sweet world. That's nice. And I can't believe that the mainstream media let them do it. But that's where they are.
I mean, it starts at the top, right? We talked about it earlier in the show, how much Joe Biden has lied for 50 years in Washington, D.C. about literally everything that comes out of his mouth.
Almost everything is a lie.
So that's where they learn it.
And always has been, which is amazing. Wow. All right, let me tell you about Thunderstorm Air Purifiers as we welcome this new sponsor to the show. This is an awesome product that I've been using, and it does exactly what it says it's going to do. Its proven Oxy technology quickly destroys viruses, odors, mold, and a lot more. Cleans up the air. Doesn't just mask it with a nasty perfume. I can't stand that. When you go through and spray stuff or whatever, that makes it worse.
Yes, thank you.
Don't do that in my house, please. I don't like that. I can't stand the heavy perfumes. This just freshens your home and rids it of odors. like litter boxes, trash cans, cigarette smoke. If you have that,
have you ever put it to the test? Like, have you ever invited Jeffy over and see how long it takes to clear out that odor after he leaves?
That'd be a real challenge. I'll have to see.
Change that filter immediately.
But cooking smells, like if you cook something really strong, like fish.
And then you come home, it's 2 days later, and you're like,
did you make fish again? No. That's from 2 days ago. This eliminates odors. Over 265,000 thunderstorm air purifiers have been sold. So you know it works. Never breathe dirty air again. No filters to buy either. It's really convenient. And you don't have to buy a bunch of filters and replace them all the time. You don't have to worry about it. You plug it in, forget about it. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. That's EDEN Pure Deals, EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code PAT3. Put in that discount code PAT3 and you'll save $200. That's 3 thunderstorm air purifiers for under $200. Shipping is free. Go there now. EdenPureDeals.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. Data suggests that there's an Alzheimer's drug now that may benefit some patients. This is good news. Clinical trials of a new Alzheimer's drug. It's called...
Yeah, it's weird. It's L something. I have it in front of me.
Lecanemab?
That sounds right.
It dropped on Tuesday evening, indicating that it had demonstrated positive results in treating the condition. Lecanemab reduced markers of amyloid. I don't know what amyloid is either. In early Alzheimer's, I guess it's something bad that's in your brain. It reduced those levels in early Alzheimer's disease and resulted in moderately less decline on measures of cognition and function than any placebo did at 18 months, but was associated with adverse events.
Well, any kind of win against cancer or Alzheimer's.
Oh, yeah. Welcome news.
Definitely.
Longer trials are warranted to determine the efficacy and safety of lecanemab in early Alzheimer's disease. I wonder if Joe Biden is on that.
What was that?
I wonder.
Why would Joe Biden be on a drug?
Because he's cognitively declined. He's got dementia of some sort. And so I'm just thinking maybe they're trying it out on him.
Is this breaking news? Joe Biden has some sort of memory issue?
Breaking news. News alert. Joe Biden cognitively declining.
Wow. You heard it here.
11.
You heard it here first. No one else is going to tell you that. And actually, that's true.
Very few will tell you that.
Yeah, very few.
With all the talk of digital currencies lately, thought it might be a good time to replay an NBC News video from several years back that should have warned what governments want when it comes to, to controlling our money supply.
Yeah, I mean, we played this video before, and I'm telling you, the digital currency is here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you need to know what they want from you, and it's everything.
And why it's a problem. Klaus Schwab and the WEF, love the Chinese model.
Yes, they do.
But take a look at this from a while ago. NBC report.
6 years ago.
Everywhere she goes, Ouyang Haoyu is followed. What she buys, how she behaves, is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is.
Oh.
It's called the social credit system, and in one version now being tested, a person's reputation is scored on.
Pause it, because check this out. These people are protesting in China right now under this kind of surveillance.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable the pressure these citizens are under right now. As they protest, this is what their reality is.
Incredible.
Of 350 to 950. And Haoyu, with a good score of 752, is okay with it. In fact, most people are.
It's a mechanism pushes you to become a better citizen.
It's big data meets big brother. expanding how the government monitors, understands, and ultimately controls its 1.4 billion citizens. Thanks to advances in artificial intelligence and facial recognition.
Terrifying.
And a web of more than 200 million surveillance cameras.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
We think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good.
Safety's
we can
really
accept
good.
it.
You like safety, right? Don't you like safety?
Algorithms to help the government create the new national social credit system.
How many of us mind losing some freedom for our safety? I mean, that's great stuff. If we can get some safety out of the government, I'm willing to give up all my privacy and freedom.
Okay.
The government also has
Amazing.
pilot projects. In one, citizens are required to do hours of unpaid work to get benefits. And scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. Video of offenders is shown on the local news. And information collectors like Zhou Ai-ni are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month. Like the man who carried a drunk person home. A good deed, she says.
Oh my gosh.
Good social credit gets rewarded with perks like cheap loans and travel deals. But a bad score means public shame and worse. Huang Huijun lost a court case and didn't pay. Now he's on a government blacklist. I can't buy airplane or train tickets, he says, and the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job or put kids in top schools. The social credit system will go nationwide next year, and few here are willing to criticize it. Something that may pose a risk itself for a bad score and the life that comes with it. Janice Mackey for NBC News, Beijing.
Okay. Again, the Chinese model. That's what we should.
Good. Yeah.
We should definitely emulate the Chinese
Everywhere
model.
she goes, Young Hao.
Okay, all right, we got it. That reminds me, it's kind of like the New Orleans ABC gun video. You can't play that enough, these reminders of where we're at.
Yeah.
And so...
True.
There you go. I mean,
my gosh.
That's been in place for now 5 years. Those poor people, man.
And they think it's fine. They're willing to give up their freedom for their safety. And really, what are they saving you from? What is the government protecting you from? Nothing. They're not protecting you.
So that went into place, I think, 2017, somewhere in there. So then earlier this year, this guy who has lived under that kind of rule over in China, somebody sent this video, which triggered me thinking of the NBC one. Somebody sent this guy just telling us, hey, how is it living under that system? And you think it's coming here anytime soon, sir?
All right.
That's this guy.
If you go to China, they're piloting it a few years ago in Shenzhen. So I lived overseas. If you go to Shenzhen, back in 2017, they already had facial recognition cameras there. So if you jaywalked in Shenzhen, they would immediately detect that and send you a notification, and they would deduct money from your what they call WeChat account. They use two main apps, WeChat and Alipay.
Just take it.
So you can actually deduct your money directly from your account.
There you go.
This is 4 years ago, so this is not like some
you want a
sort of
cashless
conspiracy theory.
society,
It's not
y'all?
something that's going to happen 10 years into the future. This happened pre-corona in China. And so this system in China that exists is extremely advanced. They can detect if it's a man or a woman. They can guess your age. They can detect what kind of car model it is, who the manufacturer is. This is a sort of technology that we see in all these dystopian sort of films and whatever, and people keep putting it off and thinking that this is something that's going to happen later in my kid's lifetime or my grandkids. It's already here. And if this gets implemented anywhere, especially in a Western nation, it's not going away. Israel is already talking about the fourth shot. Then they're going to be going to herpes, and they're going to ask if you're gay. They're going to be asking if you ate 3 pizzas this week because it's unhealthy. If you buy certain books in certain countries, your country doesn't like you. You'll lose points in the social credit score system. So this is already the reality of the world in certain places, and we need to be aware of that if we don't want that or if we do. And to be perfectly honest, anybody who wants this vaccine passport, it's a misnomer. It's total control. Everything you do or don't do will be calculated. To the point where if they can detect your GPS signal, if you have a phone on you, they can detect who you're hanging out with. Oh, you're hanging out with somebody that said something bad 9 years ago on Weibo. Right. Okay, like a Chinese equivalent to Facebook or something like that, right? Oh, you lose 2 points. Oh, you bought Japanese books. You lose 5 points because you don't like Japan. This is what is going to come here because it's already there.
Wow.
And we're doing that a little bit with contact tracing for COVID, aren't we? So that they can see where you're at and who you're with.
The simple reality is that the technology that CSIS has and all these big tech corporations, they already know where you are. It's just that they don't want to shock the system too much and admit that they have it. Edward Snowden revealed all this back in 2013. He fled to Hong Kong. They wouldn't keep him there, so now he's in Russia. But the NSA has all of your information. They know your Google searches from like February 9th, 2004 in a bunker in Colorado.
Help me, Rhonda.
Right? They have all this information. So, but they don't. Like in the U.S., they have the Fourth Amendment. They're not supposed to track you forever.
Supposed to.
So they pretend they don't have it, but they do. If they really want to utilize it.
Well, we know they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's been uncovered a long time ago. So.
And you talked about India starting. In fact, I think it starts today, December 1st. With their digital coin, their rupee.
Yeah, their digital rupee.
Get ready for the Fed coin here from the Federal Reserve. I mean, it's here. It's just, how are you going to respond to it?
Yeah. And, they make it sound like it's not a big deal. We just deduct some social score. Big deal. So what? So you have a score of 305. What does that do? Nothing, right? Well, the guy said he can't travel. He can't fly. He can't get train tickets. He can't go anywhere he wants to go. Eventually, that'll filter down to food. Sorry, you can't buy food because we don't like the way you're acting.
Yeah, and remember, this. Where's he going to fly to? A country where this is also implemented?
Yeah.
I mean, you heard the G20 guy was like, yeah, we need the digital passport so that we know who's allowed to travel. And you're not going to be allowed to travel unless you're vaccinated. And he wants that internationally. I mean, they are closing in fast. Wake up.
They really are. I mean, and these crackdowns, like we've seen in China, they've already been happening in Western nations. We talked a lot about this in the United States, and especially under COVID. I mean, you couldn't go to a restaurant in New York for how long? For a year and a half, you couldn't go to a restaurant if you weren't vaccinated, and even then, you got to have your vaccination, you got to have your mask, and then maybe you can come in and sit down and remove a mask while you chew, but then you better put it right back on when you're done.
These were test runs.
Yep. It's just control. Well, this week, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said everyone in China should be allowed to protest. We will continue to ensure that China knows we will stand for human rights and with people who are expressing themselves.
Wait, Trudeau said that?
Yeah. Justin Trudeau, who, remember when he stood with the truckers in Canada earlier this year?
Guy.
The people that were expressing themselves?
How quickly people forget.
This is Canada, not China, by the way. Oh, you're just kicking protesters. Don't worry about
Never
that.
forget. Never forget. No amnesty either.
Oh, Canada. Just kept kneeing the Oh, jeez. This was during the trucker protest again. Breaking people's windows.
We played all these, man.
Jeez. I'm sorry. Oh, man. It's beautiful. Inspiring, isn't it?
Western nations need to wake up.
I'm sorry, what was it? Trudeau said he would stand for human rights and with people expressing themselves. Didn't seem to like people expressing themselves much during that trucker strike.
No.
Yeah.
These scenes are coming to every Western country if we're not careful.
And we've already seen them in Western countries, like Canada.
There you go.
So, there you go.
We got crackdowns in Canada. We had the camps in Australia.
Yeah. Man, New Zealand.
Don't forget.
Those are Western nations, and they went off the deep end.
And they're going to keep hitting us with, boy, these outbreaks are so bad. Monkeypox, RSV, until something sticks again and they have another excuse to do this kind of crap.
Yeah, remember that little discussion last week that we showed between Xi Jinping and Justin Trudeau?
Mm-hmm.
And Jinping was just dressing him down, and Trudeau was saying, we're going to continue to have disagreements, I'm sure, but, there's a lot of things that we disagree on. No, you're acting just like him.
Yeah, and don't
you
forget...
already did that this year.
And don't forget Trudeau, when he was running for office originally, said that he admired China more than any other country in the way they do things. And he had a chance to exercise that when he was in power. He's going to do it again.
Yep. All right, we've got overtime on the way. Of course, we'll be back right here tomorrow to finish off the week together. See you then.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.